Went out there and played on a torn ACL, really kind of turned the streak that was, and just his determined spirit that he wasn't going to lose, and that he was going to help us kind of turn that. That was a pretty impressive performance by him and by our team that year. As a player, my main opportunity to play was being the placeholder for field goals, so being able to be a part of the last second field goal there, maybe in 2000. Is that correct? That was definitely a memorable experience. But I mean, all of them have. Anytime you're a part of a rivalry, there's a lot of big moments. I think the biggest thing that I've drawn from being a part of that rivalry, this rivalry for going in 26 years now, is that the most excited team, the most passionate team is not always the team that wins, it's the team that executes. I mean, I can remember when we had our spell and we weren't winning this rivalry game like we needed to. We wanted to, but we just didn't execute. We turned the ball over. And so I think that's a good reminder for our guys, because there's no doubt there'll be a lot of juice in this game like there always is. But being able to kind of channel that emotion the right way and really focus on ourselves and our execution is really what's going to allow you to have success. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like some of those games that we lost when we were on the other side of the streak, I felt like we had a better team overall, but did not play well enough that day, and they were the better team that day. And a lot of it, if you go back and look at the turnovers that we had offensively, I think a lot of that can be credited back to those turnovers. So, there was a streak at one time that the road team, won the game for several years in a row. So, I think you can look at a lot of different things. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be different than a lot of the games that you play, and that, the team that performs the best on that day is going to win. And, I think the rivalry part of it and the added juice and emotion and all that stuff, is fun, but can become a distraction sometimes if you let it. And I think that's the reminder for our guys, is to really channel that the right way. And the last few years we have.
Jeff, that 2000 game, that's the one where Rod pushed off. For better or worse, the narrative this year has been that you guys are great, and the rest of the SEC has some issues. Is this the kind of year, the time of year, when you could look at maybe some of these ACC, SEC games and say, it'd be nice if we can get a couple, our league can get a couple?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that storyline for me, I know, is just kind of, I'm over with that. I know there's, before we won the championship in 2016, that was a heavy storyline for several years. And then I think, what we've been able to do 2 of the last 3 years is kind of put that to bed. And so we haven't really made it our one of the goals of our year or whatever to prove the ACC's worth. I think every year you can point out teams, and the all I know is every week that we come out and prepare as coaches, I mean, there's no weeks that we go in and say, well, we're guaranteeing a win. We can go home early tonight. I mean, we're putting in a lot of work. These players are putting in a lot of work. And I think really maybe our success that we've had in our league speaks more, in my opinion, to our guys' consistency and preparation than it does maybe to the opponents and who we're playing. But there's no doubt, whenever they have a chance to have crossover and get to play teams from other leagues, it's probably a little bit easier to the to be able to kind of see some differences each year. But to be honest, that's not something that we spend a lot of time worried about anymore. I mean, I think we've proven that if we just focus on ourselves and on, having success each week and the things that are required to have success each week, that we're going to have an opportunity to prove, kind of our worth on the field versus, whoever we get matched up with as it goes down the road. And I think our guys have really bought into that mindset and kind of moved past the whole conference comparison.
As you're putting together a game plan, is Javon Kinlaw just kind of one of those guys that pops as far as we got to figure out how to get help on that guy? That's a guy that we don't want to let beat us as far as the individual.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime as a coach, as you're watching video, you want to see if there's, a really talented player that you need to spend a little extra time accounting for, whether it's a defensive lineman, sometimes it's a corner, sometimes it's a linebacker, something like that, and just go through all of your, if it's a defensive lineman like it is with Kinlaw, go through all of your protections and make sure, and all your run game schemes, and make sure that you're putting your guys in the best opportunity to be successful. And I think the biggest thing, I mean, we've playing the teams that we've played the last few years with veteran offensive line, we've played some talented guys. So our guys, have kind of been through this before. So it's really for them as much as it is for the coaches, for those guys to go and watch on video and really study, a really good player and see how well he uses his hands, see some of his tendencies, and understand that, they need to always know where he is and get two hands on him and not just give him a shoulder, and understand on third down as a pass rusher some of the moves and different things that he has. But, yeah, absolutely, he is a guy that we've spent some time this week really studying, and I think some teams that have had some success against them have found a way, to be able to double team him at times. You can't play the entire game that way, but there's certain times where maybe you can schematically put your guys in a good position to be able to block him. But he's definitely a problem, and much improved from where he was a year ago watching last year's video to what he's done on video this year.
Jeff, what area do you think Trevor's improved on the most in season this year?
I mean, the easy answer is just making, eliminating those 2 or 3 bad decisions that he made earlier in the year. But I think probably the thing I'm most proud about has just been his consistency in his preparation, consistency in his mindset. I mean, obviously, being as talented as he is and playing on a team like Clemson at the position that he's played, there's going to be a lot of critique and a lot of talk out there every single week. But to be able to find a guy his age that, really does not allow any of that talk, or doesn't allow maybe his performances, his positives, his negatives, does not allow that to affect the next week, his preparation. I think just the consistency that he's played with all year long has probably been the most impressive. I think he's done a really good job of using his legs and knowing when to extend plays and when to take off and run. But I think he's done an excellent job, just the way that he's graded out for us these last 4 or 5 weeks, and making the right decisions, and also done a really good job checking the ball down to the back and understanding every throw doesn't have to be a deep ball down the field, which obviously he makes plenty of those, but being able to find the back and really manage the game with good decision making, that and just the consistency of his preparation and his mindset all year has probably been the biggest takeaways.
What does Feaster mean to you? I mean, you get a chance to see him now on Saturday, and he spent a lot of time
Yeah.
with you in this program.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to recruit Taven for really 4 years, since his 9th grade. Biggest thing I think about is he did everything that we asked him to do while he was here. I mean, he was a joy to coach. Went to work every single day. Was very consistent as a player. Did everything we asked him to do off the field with his academics, and everything that you want in a player. So those are kind of my memories and thoughts of him during his time here. Obviously, just been able to see flashes, but obviously he's done a good job for them this year, and it'll be a little different seeing him over there on the other side. But it kind of is what it is, and luckily we'll be all focused about our offense and trying to go play the best game we can play, and look forward to being able to see him after the game, tell him I'm proud of him.
All right. Thanks,
Yep.
Coach.
Thanks.